welcome to our podcast, Harry Potter Meets Solo Traveling, for our participatory cultural project. If you are new here, my name is Ling Nguyen, and with me today are Julia Derenko and Nicole Bruher.
Today we are going to look at two very different participatory cultures and show how they build on the same motivations for their users. We would like to discuss the Harry Potter and solo female traveling culture and how they are related to inspire three main themes. We have two special guests joining us on our show later today who are active participants in these cultures, so make sure to stay tuned. Additionally, we have prepared a little Q&A session for all of you so that you can ask your questions regarding these topics.
Henry Jenkins, who not only coined the term but also gave the term participatory cultures its defining characteristics, defined it as a term which allows free expression of artistic talent and civic engagement, sharing one's creation with others. In the process, everyone becomes a producer, which is a mix between producer and user. Users also establish social connection with others by sharing their creations.
Thank you, Julia. Let's dive into what Harry Potter and female solo traveling cultures are. So let's start off with Harry Potter. So I bet most of our audience have watched or read or at least heard about Harry Potter. Nicole, can you elaborate for our audience the definition of Harry Potter cultures and how it reflects on social media?
Of course. So Harry Potter is a series of 7 fantasy novels written by J.K. Rowling. The novels chronicle the life of the young wizard Harry Potter and his friends Hermione Granger and Ron Weasley, all of whom are students at Hogwarts School of Witchcraft and Wizardry. The Harry Potter culture and fandom defined the community-based internet fandom culture that so many people are part of and know and love nowadays. No matter if you are a lover of the books or the movies, the Harry Potter communities welcome any Harry Potter fan around the world to join and collaborate. So the Harry Potter participatory culture is a highly informal and inclusive culture that welcomes Harry Potter fans worldwide. They do so by producing content, sharing, and shaping the flow of the group. And the group is very accepting, resembling mainly the core themes of Harry Potter culture in general.
Oh, wow. Thank you, Nicole. So, as you can clearly see, Nicole has such a thorough understanding of the Harry Potter culture. However, I bet solo traveling culture is not going to be any less interesting. Julia, would you mind taking the mic?
Sure. So a quite new travel trend is solo traveling. More and more women decide to go traveling solo to feel free and independent. The culture around the solo traveling phenomenon got established when women decided to share their inspiring stories with other women. For example, in Facebook groups. And those groups empower interested women to go on their journey solo. It's a really lovely and global exchange. You can find also PDF guides on how to be prepared and feel safe when traveling solo as well.
Thank you, Julia, for sharing your expertise with us. So before the show, we have asked you guys on our social media, how do you think that these cultures are connected? And let us know what your thought. What are the parallels between Harry Potter and solo traveling? And here are some recording of your answers.
So what I think these two topics have in common would be the theme of escaping. So with Harry Potter, I think many of us, we just escape to this magical world, leaving behind our problems and just immersing in this culture, being part of the magical world. And with female solo traveling, I think many people, they just want to maybe leave their lives behind, and it seems that maybe they're bored of the routine or they're tired of it and they want to experience something new, find themselves. So they want to escape this old thing and immerse themselves in the new one. And yeah.
I think traveling by yourself, solo traveling, creates an energy within you that allows you to be very comfortable with yourself. You don't need anybody, and it kind of gains this idea of independence where you don't need a travel buddy as long as you're being safe. And I think in regards to Harry Potter, Hermione is kind of that smart, independent woman that can do her own thing. She doesn't need to go to the same classes that her guys go to. And yeah, I think Hermione would be a very strong solo traveler because she's just so dang independent.
I think when I think about Harry Potter, it was always a world that I can get lost in and really immerse myself in. So maybe it's like a little bit of an escape. And then with female solo traveling, you can kind of do the same thing where you can immerse yourself in your own world, and kind of escape, but also really make your own rules. And yeah, I feel like that's what Harry Potter is also about, doing what feels right for you.
So what I think they have in common is that in the Harry Potter movies, the presence of women is quite quite strong. Even though Harry Potter is the main character, Hermione, for example, she's one of the main characters, and you really see her development and how she speaks out her mind and raises her voice. And I think in the solo traveling community, you also it's about women empowerment and women how they do their own thing and develop themselves and just grow. And I think we also saw that with Hermione throughout the Harry Potter movies, how she grew as a woman. And yeah, I think the women empowerment is quite present.
I actually don't see anything in common between those two cultures.
Thank you for sharing your answer with us. Some of you have no clue, and some of you got it quite close to what we are going to discuss.
Yeah, and now we will dive deeper into the Harry Potter fandom and the female solo travel culture and show you how both cultures motives users to escape, become more self-accepting and empowerment.
It's really amazing how two participatory cultures can seem so completely different, but still have so much in common.
We want to start off by having a major fan of Harry Potter, lovely Lucy, to read a small passage from the book Harry Potter and the Philosopher's Stone. So lay back, close your eyes, and enjoy.
Harry woke at 5 o'clock the next morning and was too excited and too nervous to go back to sleep. He got up and pulled on his jeans because he didn't want to walk into the station in his wizard's robes. He'd change on the train. He checked his Hogwarts list yet again to make sure he had everything he needed, saw that Hedwig was shut safely in her cage, and then paced the room waiting for the Dursleys to get up. 2 hours later, Harry's huge heavy trunk had been loaded into the Dursleys' car. Aunt Petunia had talked Dudley into sitting next to Harry, and they had set off. They reached King's Cross at 10:30. Uncle Vernon dumped Harry's trunk onto a trolley and wheeled it onto the station for him. Harry thought this was strangely kind, until Uncle Vernon stopped dead, facing the platforms with a nasty grin on his face. "Well, there you are, boy. Platform 9, platform 10. Your platform should be somewhere in the middle, but they don't seem to have built it yet, do they?" He was quite right, of course. There was a big plastic number 9 over one platform, and a big plastic number 10 over the one next to it, and in the middle, nothing at all. "Have a good term," said Uncle Vernon, with an even nastier smile. He left without another word. Harry turned and saw the Dursleys drive away. All three of them were laughing. Harry's mouth went rather dry. What on earth was he going to do? He was starting to attract a lot of funny looks because of Hedwig. He'd have to ask someone. He stopped a passing guard, but didn't dare mention platform 9 3/4. The guard had never heard of Hogwarts, and when Harry couldn't even tell him what part of the country it was in, he started to get annoyed, as though Harry was being stupid on purpose. Getting desperate, Harry asked for the train that left at 11 o'clock, but the guard said there wasn't one. In the end, the guard strode away, muttering about time wasters. Harry was now trying hard not to panic. According to the large clock over the arrivals board, he had 10 minutes left to get on the train to Hogwarts, and he had no idea how to do it.
This was so nice. It really brings me back to my childhood. I remember having a full set of Harry Potter novels. Every time I had like a bad day, I would just open one book randomly. Like when I read the first book, I was so impressed with Harry, just going on his journey to Hogwarts all by himself without actually knowing anything about where he went. He is so brave.
True, I must say, I just now realize what an adventure he went on without knowing where he will land. But considering the hard time he had at home, I can imagine a magical world like Hogwarts sounded quite appealing for him.
Yeah, true. But Lynn, did you really read all of the books?
Yeah, I love them. Like, I really love them. But however, like I also remember I was really annoyed when I was younger because none of my friends had the same passion for Harry Potter as I do. So I couldn't really share or discuss the novels with anyone. But now, like, with social media and especially Facebook group for Harry Potter's fan, I think it is so amazing how people can share their common interests, participate in online conversation, co-create, Harry Potter fan fiction, and even experience real life events together.
I actually recently did a study on why people participate in the Harry Potter culture. It was amazing to see how people, just like Ling, identify with the story of Harry Potter. Harry Potter does not merely exist as a fictional story that brings entertainment and enjoyment into people's life, but I actually found that for many, it became a real magical world that they can enter to have a break and escape from their everyday life. We asked you guys for questions, and one of the questions was, how exactly do they escape? Through the conversations with other fans, because there is no magical world, and when they turn around they will see their own place. I can't imagine how that is a relief when they flee from their problems through the chatting with someone over something unreal. Aren't they lying to themselves? Thank you for that great questions. So what we mainly found was by relating to the story of Harry Potter, escaping into a magical world of Hogwarts, fans have that opportunity to also escape their world into a magical world together with Harry Potter. So the escape aspect also relates to the story of Harry Potter himself. And when he got the letter from Hogwarts, he followed his intuition and escaped to travel to Hogwarts. In the case of the fans, the world is being self-created online, where many fans come together to build a community supporting one another. But we will definitely dive more into this question and answer it with our special guest later on in the podcast.
Well, I myself actually joined a Facebook group, and it really allowed me to have a imaginative escape from my muggle life by immersing myself into the fantasy world created there. I met a fellow witch in my new family online, and I felt so touched by her story. She told me that throughout her whole life, she was bullied, and the story of Harry Potter really spoke to her and made her feel better. She explained that now, as an adult, being a part of this community really makes her feel magical and safe, offering this escape. As Belle emphasized in the book Transmedia Harry Potter, it provides a psychological relief and a way to step back from reality to see the world in a different light.
And a place like this, maybe a Facebook group, WhatsApp group, Twitter community, or anything else that triggers collaboration, it really is of great importance for a user, though, on a deeper psychological level.
Oh, guys, now you're talking about this, I see such a similarity to the female solo traveling culture that I'm part of, actually. Because in the Facebook group, the Female Solo Travel Network, I was reading stories from women that escape their daily lives through traveling. Some female travelers leave their lives and problems behind and escape into another culture or country and create their, like, I would call it personal bubble.
This is so interesting. It's crazy how these cultures overlap on such a deep level. So when Harry Potter escaped from the mistreatment of his aunt and uncle to a better world, it is the same motive when people in the solo traveling community escape society to better personal circumstances.
Yeah, true. And solo female travelers break free from this societal jail, how I like to call it, which is established by the system. They're screwing the system to find happiness and freedom.
But have you actually experienced this kind of escape yourself, Julia?
Well, not really, but actually just recently I read a post in the Facebook group I just named where a woman shared her experience about how she screwed the system and escaped from her responsibilities. Her name is Ansi and she wrote, "Most of the people tried to stop me or make me feel afraid of a solo trip. But even though deep inside I knew that fear never fixed or helped to achieve anything, so I just did it. I quit my job, I booked a one-way ticket and went to live my dream. I simply followed my instincts without having any idea where I would end up. Now I know that it was the best decision that I've ever made. I live close to nature in the jungle, surrounded by waterfalls, and enjoy the most important thing in the world, freedom. I'm not sharing the story to prove that I'm in a better place than you. I just want to remind that your life can be either defined by the system or by the way you defy the system. We all need to make our personal revolution, not to live in a fear, because we can't win a fight by protecting ourselves all the time."
Wow, that was so powerful. I believe that everyone should learn to know our worth and to believe in our instinct. Like society and social norms should not hold us back in any kind of way. Like in Harry Potter, I remember when he wants to do something, there were always people and even friends sometimes that didn't support him or didn't allow him to do it. But he was like, screw you, and did it anyway. And look how he had turned out so successful in his journey of becoming a powerful warlock. And when it's come to us girls, I always feel like there are so much pressure and unspoken rules we have to follow. Traveling solo is such a way for us to escape all of this burden. But I mean, come on, our life would be so much easy if we would just listen to our intuition more often and just do things instead of overthinking what people around us could think. Like,
That's very interesting. Like, I really agree with you. But speaking about escaping, that is the first main theme Harry Potter and female solo traveling have in common. As for Harry Potter, in the book, he had to escape from his aunt and uncle to travel to Hogwarts. And as for his fans, participating in conversations, discussions, and fan fiction on Facebook groups are always a way to relax and escape from their busy life. While for female solo traveling, it is also considered a way to leave all your problems behind and escape to a new city or country.
I don't know about you guys, but I think I just had such an enlightening conversation, and I hope our audience feel the same. Because when we were promoting this podcast, a lot of you guys were interested and sent us many questions through the survey we sent out. So now let's have a small Q&A section. Julia, can you read some of the questions that we have?
Yeah, of course. So we got really fascinating questions here. And one of the questions is, why do you think for some people Harry Potter could be an escape instead of something else?
This is very interesting. I actually asked myself that question as well before doing my research into Harry Potter and this culture. I came to the conclusion that Harry Potter is such a phenomenon that has shaped entire generations because, as Sanders explained, J.K. Rowling managed to write a story that brings real life problems into the magical story. So that is why so many people can relate to Harry Potter because he's going through the same things as them. For example, when Harry gets bullied at school, he's called a liar, he has to deal with death, Ron leaving him, and many more incidents. That's how people really identify with Harry Potter.
As author Kaczynski and Eddie explain in their book Harry Potter and the Millennials, J.K. Rowling has actually successfully shown the power of fans identifying with characters in a story, as she was able to make fans psychologically become wizards themselves and escape into her story to feel better.
It's really crazy how the extensive popularity of the novels in the literary world was able to extend beyond and have a larger cultural impact worldwide.
It really is impressive.
Well, we hope this answered your question. I just now received another question. It asks, when being a female solo traveler, how do you feel when you go back to your everyday life after having escaped into another world?
That's something I can answer from my own experience. So, when I came back from my solo trip last summer, I felt very depressed for a week or so, and I also needed time to process my experience. This depressive feeling showed me that there is a part in my actual life I'm not happy with. I was escaping my life for only 3 weeks when I came back, and I realized I needed to face what I was escaping from to build a more sustainable and happy future for myself. I felt so inspired to change, and I changed in a way that I developed my mindset and stopped questioning my ability to achieve specific aims. Of course, it's open to you how you want to deal with your inspiration after you're coming back from your solo trip. But if you're a smart person, you will take the initiative for some changes in your everyday life so that your happiness increases.
So, escaping is definitely one interesting theme Harry Potter and female solo traveling have in common. I don't know about you guys, but I really feel like our conversation sparked something in me because I've never thought about this. But now let's see how else these two topics can be related.
I was looking into this before our podcast and I found something really interesting. Harry Potter and female solo traveling both inspire self acceptance from their fandoms and participants.
Oh, funny that you say that. There is one scene in Harry Potter I always have in mind for so many years. So, in the book, Goblet of Fire, there is a part where it became widely known that Hagrid's mother was a giantess. Hagrid was very ashamed and wanted to resign from Hogwarts. However, Dumbledore refused to accept Hagrid's resignation. Harry, Ron, and Hermione also tell Hagrid that they wanted him to return to teaching. And during a tender moment in Hagrid's cabin, Hagrid explains his parents and his own philosophy on self-acceptance, and it goes like this. I am what I am, and I'm not ashamed. Never be ashamed. My old dad used to say, there's some who'll hold it against you, but they're not worth bothering with.
As he should. A person should never have to feel ashamed of how he or she is or what he or she believes in.
So true. I'm always so impressed by how J.K. Rowling managed to create a world that faces the same challenges as us. And as Sanders found, in many cases it actually revolved around the problems of acceptance and inclusivity. The core of Harry Potter is built on offering an inclusive and accepting space for people. That's what I love about it so much.
But is it only from the novels and from the characters in the story itself, or is it how the fans in the fandom treat each other?
Of course, the storyline itself relates to the theme of acceptance. But actually, the whole Harry Potter culture is very peaceful and inclusive in nature. Accepting people's various opinions without judgment, people feel accepted and included no matter their beliefs or values.
True. The online community about Harry Potter that I am a part of really given a comfortable and safe environment that people may not have or feel in their everyday life. In this environment, they can flourish and not just be accepted by other people, but also accept themselves and love themselves for who they are. This is really important on psychological level as such an environment help people gain confidence and comfort in being themselves.
I feel like this is especially relevant as Harry Potter fans very much fall into the area of geek fandom and geek culture, which was always depicted as less accepted by people that are not part of this culture. When being part of a geek community such as Harry Potter, having a place where you're not being judged is fundamentally important for people to feel good and proud about being part of this fandom. Harry Potter is a phenomenon in this sense, as this fandom is so large that it has actually enabled geek culture to become cool, making many geeks feel accepted and proud of who they are.
Okay, I can see how Harry Potter make people believe in themselves more, but how exactly is female solo traveling inspire self-acceptance?
Yeah, so related to the female travel culture, some women feel lost in their lives or feel lack of self-love before going on a travel adventure. And you know how most of the women are. They doubt about themselves a lot. And after traveling solo, they feel more self-acceptance and self-confidence towards themselves. In the Facebook community, they also find like-minded women sharing same beliefs and issues so that it increases their self-acceptance. They know they're not alone with their opinion. And furthermore, when you travel and you are completely alone, you only have yourself to deal with. So when traveling alone, you really need to be in peace with yourself and accept yourself. It's really a journey to find yourself and love yourself. Lately, I interviewed Leah, and she's a female solo traveler, and I asked her about her self-acceptance.
Where I'm from, people are like, they want to settle down very early, so already in the 20s and stuff. And when you meet, and that sometimes freaks me out a bit. But when I go traveling, I meet people that are like almost 40 and they still didn't figure out where they want to stay. And I don't know, they want the same things from life, I think. Yeah.
Oh, true. When you travel and meet new, like-minded people, I can imagine that you realize easier that you are fine just the way you are. How do you feel more self-confident afterwards?
Well, you managed the whole trip by yourself. This feeling is so powerful and unique, and there's no other option than being proud of yourself and recognizing your braveness.
Well, this is just from my personal experience, but I truly think when you believe in yourself, when you have the confidence that you can do it, you definitely can conquer anything you want. Especially with us girls, I feel like it is so important to realize your self-worth and to continuously empower yourself and others.
Yeah, exactly. And that just leads us to our next theme of what Harry Potter and solo traveling have in common. It's empowerment. In Harry Potter, the Hermione Granger is absolutely a symbol of empowerment and role model for young women.
That's so true. There's such a nice quote from Hermione in Harry Potter and the Half-Blood Prince when Harry and Ron once again assumed that the Half-Blood Prince was male, not even considering that he could be female. Hermione did not stand for it, and she said, "The truth is that you don't think a girl would have been clever enough."
This is so true, and I feel like often female characters are just subjected to being female and nothing more.
True, and look at how many strong female characters we have in Harry Potter novels. Molly Weasley, Luna Lovegood, Ginny Weasley, Fleur Delacour, and everyone's favorite insufferable know-it-all, Hermione Granger.
Exactly. Harry Potter might be named for its male protagonist, but the Harry Potter series brought us some of the fiercest female characters of all time. All these different female characters have their own strengths and weaknesses and are well rounded characters that are independent and stay relevant throughout the whole book without being a side piece to a male character. I mean, just look at Hermione Granger. She's a lead character in the story, being represented as the smartest witch in her year and as brave as any Gryffindor. That can be ruthless and intensely stubborn. She's more than just a girl. She's in every bit equal to her wizard classmates.
Yeah, yeah, she really knows how to deal with the boys, Harry and Ron.
Exactly. Even the boys can be refreshingly feminist in this novel, I realized. When, for example, when Harry and Ron are meat headed teenagers sometimes, but they also seem perfectly happy to admit that Hermione's the most talented when it comes to magic. And let's be real, she is.
Wow, this is so impressive. I have really never thought about it.
Same. But how does this empowerment go beyond the story of Harry Potter to the fandom and communities of Harry Potter?
So, considering what we talked about before, by fans being able to be part of this online community, being accepted and also accepting themselves, people within the community very much feel empowered as a person and in their fandom.
Interesting. So the consequence of having space to escape to then offers a way to self-acceptance. It gives you the power to believe in yourself and accept yourself, which empowers you to be happy and change your life in a way that makes you happy. Empowering to not be influenced by what people say about you.
Exactly. A question just came in and it asked, do they show their empowerment outside of their community too? If yes, how?
Of course, people go far beyond being empowered in the community. So, from my own research into this community, I found that in many cases, people change their attitudes towards other people and how much they value other people's opinions once they have gotten the strength to being empowered as a person and believing in themselves. So, similarly, people also start presenting their fandom and love for Harry Potter more openly, not being ashamed of being part of a geek culture. We will also have Suzanne Reynolds come in a minute to tell us about her life-changing experience with Harry Potter community. How do you think solo traveling can be empowering, Julia?
So, by traveling alone and finding yourself in this journey, they start accepting and loving themselves, which really empowers them as a person. Women feel inspired after their solo travel experience and feel empowered because traveling solo is such a big achievement for them. So, empowerment is the result out of self acceptance and self confidence. When women go back to their old life, they can see what made them happy and what didn't, changing their life in such a way that they are happy. And you have such a clear view on your life suddenly. They feel empowered to live the life they want and not to follow social norms.
That sounds awesome. But how is empowerment related to the female solo travel community?
So, in the community itself, women share their inspiring stories about how solo traveling was a game changer for themselves and encourage other women to travel solo. The exchange is so lovely and thoughtful so that women can get advice on how to travel solo or what places are safe. And I feel like female sex becomes so much more empowered by solo travel culture. And recently, I read statistics about solo traveling. Women outnumber men with a share of 84% in solo traveling regarding Condor ferries. I mean, how crazy is that?
Oh, really? I did not know that. Such a brave thing to do, and women are taking the lead. We can be proud of our sex. That only show how much our sex is developing towards an empowering role in the past few years. Shall we pick up some questions that we were sent by the audience? I think our audience would have many questions regarding empowerment of female solo travelers.
They sure do. So, one question is, how do women notice the empowerment after traveling? And how do they apply this to their life after coming back? Julia, as you have the most experience, would you like to answer this?
Yeah, sure. So I think you can just feel it yourself. After you have planned everything, went out on your own, take care of yourself, pay your own stuff, you will just see the power in you and what you are capable of. And like Lynn said, when you believe in yourself and when you have confidence in yourself. So in this case, when you come back from your trip, you will just simply be more courageous and do things more fearlessly.
Wow, that's a really nice answer. Thank you, Julia. Another question I find interesting is that how can you share that empowerment with other women?
In the context of what we have been discussed now, I would guess the main communication environment is through Facebook group. When you join one of these groups for solo traveling, you will see a lot of people sharing their experience and how they prepared, how they travel alone, and what did they learn. And this itself is already so inspiring and is the main source of motivation that inspire other women to travel alone too. And I have lots of friends telling me how empowered they feel, how motivated they feel after joining many travel groups. And I myself, I started my own project of a travel blog where I and people from around the world tell their travel stories to empower other people too.
Okay, now let's move on to the discussion part with our two special guests, Susanna Renoit and Lisa Marie Lenner.
With us now is Suzanne Reynolds.
Hello.
Thank you so much for joining us today.
Thank you for having me. So, Susanna, I heard that you are quite an active member of the Harry Potter community. How long have you been part of this community? I've been part of the community on social media for about 3-4 years, but Harry Potter's been with me for the past over 20 years. Wow, that's such a long time. And how do you feel being part of this community? It's nice being part of the community because I am able to express how I feel about Harry Potter, about the wizarding world, along with other people that share the same passion with me. It's nice to interact with other fans, and it's an escape for us all away from reality, really.
That's so nice. So, as you know, we were discussing how participating in the online fandom on Facebook or YouTube gives people a feeling of escaping reality and joining a magical world of Harry Potter. On your YouTube channel, you revealed that you were bullied when you were younger and Harry Potter offered you an escape. How do you feel about this, and how does this relate to your experience?
Yeah, I was bullied as a child during my school years. But I used to come home, stick on a Harry Potter, and it wasn't a thing where I'd watch Harry Potter and then I'd go back to feeling bad about myself again because I'd been bullied. Harry Potter genuinely really lifted my spirits because of the magic of the wizarding world. It sounds very wonderful, but did this community also help you to become more self-accepting and to be more empowered? So maybe you can tell us a little bit more about your experience. Yeah, definitely. Speaking to people that also have the same passion with Harry Potter as I do, we're all able to be ourselves. We're big nerds, really, massive nerds. And yeah, we're just able to be ourselves, talk about anything we want. We understand each other because of the passion we have.
That's so great. And since you have such a strong passion for it, maybe you can tell us a little more about your experience with how does it make you feel, and like what does it offer to you that maybe another culture wouldn't offer to you?
I think it genuinely is the passion that I have for Harry Potter. I mean, there's other things in the world that other people are passionate about that I probably wouldn't be passionate about, but it's because I think it brings me joy. Harry Potter brings me joy. Talking to people that also have that same joy that it brings to them is really, really nice. Yeah.
That's so great. And when you were bullied and you found this kind of way of Harry Potter making you feel good because of the magic and everything, would you say it also shaped you to the person you are now? Did it make you more confident knowing other people also were in loving this culture as much as you, and made you kind of accept yourself?
Yes, definitely. Definitely, because one of the reasons I got bullied was for being as we call, nerd. But speaking to other people with the same passion, it made me realise it's not just me that loves it. There are other people out there I can share how I feel, share how much the magical world gives me joy. it made me more confident, definitely. It's made me a stronger person, and I now do not care what people think anymore.
What I would like to know from you, Suzanne, is what do you think why this Harry Potter fandom is still going on since such a long time?
Because it's great. I don't really know why people still, I mean, I still love it. I don't know. I think I will never get fed up of watching a Harry Potter film. I'll never get fed up of talking about Harry Potter. Obviously, my YouTube channel, I speak about Harry Potter on there all the time. It's Harry Potter based. I think people just love the idea of it. I mean, it's very cleverly thought out, and it's magical. Who doesn't like magic?
That's true.
Nice.
And you also say that you've really kind of find a family in this community of Harry Potter.
Yes, more so on my YouTube channel, because obviously we've got this community, quite a big community now on my YouTube channel. We all love Harry Potter, and whatever video I make and upload on there, people talk to me, and yeah, we have got quite a big community on there, and yeah, we can be ourselves. We can talk about anything magical, and nobody judges you.
That's so nice. And you know that we've been talking about three main themes, so escaping, self-acceptance, and empowerment for both Harry Potter and also female solo traveling. And we kind of wanted to know what your impression was on this.
I didn't know a lot about female solo traveling, but looking it up, obviously they're both completely different things, Harry Potter and female solo traveling, but what the outcome is, they're both very similar, and it's, yeah, I really like the sound of female solo traveling as well, and being able to travel, find yourself traveling alone, finding yourself as a woman, and I really think it would give you more confidence and make you a stronger person as well.
And are you surprised about the same motivations both of these communities they offer?
I'm not surprised now I think about it, but obviously to just look at Harry Potter and female solo traveling, just to quickly look at both of them things, obviously because they're so different, it is strange that they both connect in a sense. But yeah, thinking about it, of course they are gonna connect.
Thank you so much for your insight today. Thank you so much, Susanna, for joining us. Thank you for having me.
Thanks, Susanna.
It was really great.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye. That really was a lovely conversation with Suzanne. I'm always impressed with how a culture can have such a life-changing effect on people.
Yeah, that's very true.
Well, that actually brings us to our next special guest. Welcome to our podcast, Lisa Mary Leno.
Thank you.
Thank you so much for joining us today, Lisa.
Yes, my pleasure.
So, Lisa, I know that you are an active participant of the female solo traveling community. How's the feeling when traveling solo for the first time? And did you do it more than once?
Well, I think the feeling when I was traveling for the first time was a very interesting one. It was a mix of being excited, but also anxious and insecure about how you manage things, because I did it the first time after high school by myself. And I think the feeling was a very special feeling that you maybe just feel once in a life of the first time. So yeah, I think it was a really good one. And I did it. Yes, I did it 2 times already in my life. So one time to Spain, to Morocco, and then again to India.
Cool, very inspiring. So our podcast listeners ask, how safe is it to travel solo for a woman? Can you tell us a bit more about your experience and maybe how you prepare for your travel?
Well, I think the safety is really depending on the country you're going, because it depends. I would say, for my own experience, in those countries, my family was a bit anxious about, it was pretty safe. For example, I went to Morocco by myself, and then I went to India, and if you just know how how the culture is, how people behave, and like the position of the women in this society, you can already do some research and just really try to find ways to also behave in certain ways so that nothing really can happen to you. But it really depends on the country. I mean, being naive doesn't really help, I would say. So of course you should prepare and research.
Okay, great. And have you ever felt like you are escaping from your current life when traveling solo? Like that you just want to leave your current reality by escaping into another country or culture?
Yes, I would say definitely that this was my main reason to escape, to travel. Like I had personal reasons to do it, and in that time I only saw traveling as a good chance to just really surround myself with completely other people and to get a different environment, just also to find back a bit to myself. And I think also traveling is a lot connected to self-discovery or changing, that you seek for a change. Yes, I would say definitely.
And how would you say that by escaping into another country, how did that help you to maybe grow and accept yourself and maybe become more empowered in your life when you came back?
I think I wouldn't say that I'm now completely accepting myself still. I mean, there are always different parts, but just you have to that you meet so many people and that decisions which you would never encounter in your home country or in your safe bubble. I would say that you just need to learn how to deal with that, and that you also discover new parts of yourself because you only see those situations outside your safe bubble, you know. So I think that was definitely people. I think people and places which were not my natural environment, these situations and extremely in situations, those helped me really to grow as a person.
And would you say when you came back, you felt kind of empowered?
Definitely. I would say it also shapes your opinion and it boosts your self confidence. And also, I think, yeah, I definitely felt empowered when coming back because it also helps you, traveling helps you to see certain things from different perspectives, but you have only seen from one perspective. So being able to see so many different things because you live with different cultures definitely makes you stronger or empowered. And it definitely helped me to put my life in a different direction and to also learn that you are responsible how your life is looking like. I think that was also one of the biggest lessons connected to empowering, that you are the only person who can change your life, basically.
That is very interesting, though. And since we only really researched how it is in the online community, how is it in the offline world? So I can imagine that you meet other women while traveling. How is this exchange offline?
I would say it's a very easy, like it's very easy that you get in contact and that you feel connected, especially to female travelers, since we are all basically in the same pot when it comes to safety issues, what you asked me before, or like safety feelings. So I would say offline, or like just when you travel and when you go to hostels or somewhere and you meet other girls, I think it mostly is I met really good friends. I remember in Spain, I had like a lot of female friends from Germany, from Canada. It was simply the fact that we are all together here, that we just all are traveling alone. I think also traveling alone makes a huge difference how you see people and how you make friendships. Just because you have to be social, you know. And I think because everybody who travels alone is in the same situation. Yeah, I think making friendships with girls is very, very easy.
It's so wonderful, Lisa. But did this community also help you to become more self-accepting and more empowered? Like in the group itself, when you kind of interact with different women?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I would say so, because you also exchange previous experiences. For example, personal stuff. Like I had this issue at the time with like a relationship which ended, or that really it was a big thing for me, and it was hard to also accept myself at the beginning before I traveled because, yeah, you know, and I think when you just listen to other people and you just exchange with other people, you're traveling, and you just encourage each other and you share feelings, and you just see that there's so many people who have suffered or who just experienced the same things. I feel like it empowers you a lot, and it's also I think it's for anybody. It's a really beautiful thing to just share feelings and to accept that those things happened, and then just to grow and to go on. So yes.
That's really powerful. Sadly, we don't have a lot of time left, so we just want to ask you one more question. So, looking at the three themes we talked about before about escaping, self acceptance, and empowerment that both Harry Potter and female solo traveling provide within their community, can you tell us what your impression is on this?
My impression, I would say, I think I can imagine. I mean, I like Harry Potter. I'm not really familiar with the community, but I can understand the fact that escaping and empowerment are for both teams are, I think, the biggest one, which maybe have a connection to both topics, because I was imagining like when you're like in this fantasy community and you watch the movies or you have, I don't know, exchange with other people, it's basically the same thing because you just have shared feelings, you experience, you see the same things, and you talk about it and you grow with it. So it doesn't matter if you're traveling and you talk about whatever those related topics, or you are just at home and interact with an online community with Harry Potter, or you meet them. I think it's both the same thing, that you just really find a bubble where you are with like-minded people and where you can just understand each other due to those circumstances.
Thank you so much. That was like really an interesting conversation. Because I also was thinking about female, like to travel solo myself, and I was like super scared. But like, you know, listening to your insight, your story, I think I'm like much more empowered and motivated to do it myself. So thank you so much, Lisa, for joining us today.
Yes, you're welcome. Thank you.
Bye.
Thank you, Lisa.
Thank you.
Bye.
It was really nice to have active member of these two cultures sharing their story with us.
So true. I'm so happy that Susanna was so open with us. Reflecting on what she told us, I'm so impressed on how the Harry Potter novels and culture was able to help a small girl get through her time of being bullied. To Suzanne, this culture was so important, and by escaping into a magical world, it gave her this sense of belonging that empowered her to rise above her bullies and become the wonderful woman she is today, with a husband and two children that love and adore her. I think this really showed how escaping is not a form of denial for people like Suzanne, but it is a way of coping with what is happening.
Exactly. And what Lisa just said was very interesting, that her solo trip was a kickoff for her journey to her own self-acceptance. I feel like it's an eye-opener to develop yourself and more and work actively with your personality and interests. Very inspiring. And it's crazy when you think about it that technically many people live in denial and just follow society, and what is expected may never find themselves or look beyond what is given to them. Or have you girls ever asked yourself, who are you on a deeper level?
Now that you're asking so directly and clearly, I mean, I know where I come from and what I do, but I actually have never reflected on myself on a deeper level. Maybe I should start doing that.
I completely understand what you said, Julia, with many people living in denials and just follow normal norms. Because myself, as an Asian girl, I do feel like I'm supposed to be some perfect little girl as really strict social norm define me. However, I do have to say that I was lucky enough to have such amazing and open-minded parents that let me be me and explore my personal interests.
That is so great, Ling. I'm really happy for you.
Now. So, girls, we are nearly finished with our podcast episode, Harry Potter Meets female solo traveling. I'm so impressed by how many similarities both cultures have. I hope all of you listeners also learn a little and are excited to participate in this wonderful cultural. There are some general questions left from our audience. I would like to ask you, Nicole and Julia. What is the average age of Harry Potter fandom?
Well, that's actually the wonderful part about Harry Potter. It started with the first Harry Potter book in 1997, and since then attracted and shaped people from many different generations. School kids, parents, young adults, there's something for everyone.
Now, Julia, when you travel alone, do you travel with a plan or just go with the flow?
Well, when I traveled solo for the first time, I went with the flow. And that was the first time that I didn't prepare myself for a journey and only trusted my spontaneity. And I have to say, it was so great to do that. And I was kind of magical how one great thing after another appeared. But if planning makes you feel safer, then plan your journey ahead, of course. So you can cancel accommodation and change your plans in most cases anyway, if you would like to stay also more flexible.
Nice. So the last question is for both of you. Is there an official platform, website, where people can exchange this experience, feelings, thoughts about, Harry Potter or female solo traveling?
Well, for Harry Potter, there are many different groups on any platform, really: Facebook, Instagram, Reddit, etc. I personally recommend the Facebook group Harry Potter Fan Club. I thought it was very peaceful and wonderful to be part of that. But the main platform for Harry Potter is called Wizarding World. It has its own website, which used to be the famous fan-run Pottermore participatory culture. What about female solo traveling, Julia?
Yeah, there's a Facebook group called Female Solo Travel Network, and I can recommend this group if you're up for inspiring stories told by other women or if you need an advice regarding solo traveling. I guarantee you will leave this group with a high motivation organizing your next trip.
Thank you guys for your answer, and we will, of course, provide this links to this platform in our bio. So that also just led us to the end of today's podcast. How do you guys feel about today's topic, participatory cultures in general, and Harry Potter and female solo travel specifically?
I really like what we did today. This is not a common topic, and this is also not what we usually do. I especially love the fact that I learned so much about participatory culture after our talk today. So, in participatory culture, you're not only the consumer, but you also act like a contributor or producer. In Harry Potter's case, Harry Potter's fans do not only read the novels or watch the series, but they also actively create a community online, participate in discussions, and write fan fictions together, have dress-up parties, or even make YouTube videos to promote Harry Potter like Susanna did. Or in the case of female solo travel, not only do they travel, but they also encourage people to try it, share experiences, and motivate another to be brave and empower.
That's a really great point, Julia. However, for me, it is how the two cultures relate that impressed me. Like, if you asked me the question randomly, I would have never thought of how Harry Potter and solo female traveling culture can have anything in common. But with the three main themes of escaping, self acceptance, and empowerment, I really enjoyed the fact that both Harry Potter novels and Harry Potter fan communities inspired these characters. And also the same with female solo traveling.
Yes, I'm with you right there. The topic today really blew my mind because it is so out of the box compared to what I'm used to. This made me think a lot about what can we do in the future and how we should really keep an open mind as everything can somehow be related. And it is so interesting to find those connections. But anyways, we don't have much time left. So to our audience, if you guys are still with us, thank you for listening to our podcast, and I hope you enjoy listening to it as we do making it. And to Nicole and Julia, Thank you for joining me today. I cannot wait till our next podcast together. Goodbye.
Bye.
Bye.